Hello and welcome to Say Hi to the Future, Ingenious Thinkers, a podcast aimed at highlighting the human side of ingenuity. My name is Tencer, curator of Say Hi to the Future, helping leaders think differently in the face of uncertainty and ambiguity. Better thinking, better outcomes. With me today is Constanza Safatle, founder and CEO of Newbornlander, a successful for-profit social enterprise specializing in slow fashion and accessories for babies. Like this video if you enjoy our show and subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment with who we should interview next. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Constanza Safatle, Newbornlander, welcome to Say Hi to the Future.
Thank you so much.
So, Constanza, you have quite a backstory. Firstly, you moved from Chile to Newfoundland. Now, moving from Toronto to Newfoundland is a big move. What brought you from Chile? How did you get from Chile to Newfoundland? How did that become the destination?
Well, I came in supporting my husband's education. He came to pursue a master, and he told me that here is like a great weather. So I thought like, okay, let's do it.
Great weather.
Yeah, that is what he said. But no, I mean, the weather is a factor, right? But now I love it. So I am not complaining anymore.
Okay. For a Canadian, it's beautiful weather. There's a lot of seasons, but maybe for you it was a bit of a surprise. Now,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. When you came here, also, you've run into some issues that immigrants have in Canada, and I know it's a huge topic of discussion. You were a commercial lawyer in Chile, and you were not able to practice here.
Yeah. Well, I feel my big surprise was, as an immigrant perspective, when you see Canada have a huge brand, and that is pioneer in immigration, a humanitarian country, and somebody that is calling for immigrants. And so you come with a lot of perspective. And I feel what for me was a little shocking to realize that the country and in this province, it doesn't have the basic to welcome somebody, like English classes, for example. And it's really strange thinking that they are asking and requesting like professional, you need to be professional, you need a degree, and you need to bring money. So it's kind of a really high economic thing. And then you come here and you realize like, but what I will do now, I am not able to work as a lawyer. I am not able to access to English classes. In Newfoundland at that time was not a big Latin community already developed, or a place where you can go and find information. I just received a lot of rejection. So I realized that, okay, I am alone. I too late at home what I will do next.
Unbelievable. So you come here, there's some very real barriers to becoming a Canadian citizen. And not saying those are right or wrong. I mean, that's our system, but you just said you come here and then you're alone. So how did you learn English? How did you start to feel like this journey was worth it for you?
Well, I start from the scratch. And so when I realized that I have all this barrier, of course, I think unfortunately many people is just paralyzed by this shock, right? So you stay at home, isolate. And in my case, I was like, okay, no, I would figure out. So I prepare an interview in English enough decent to get a job in a basic level in a coffee shop. So I get the job and I learn English there, working day by day as a child that is absorbing language. And that is how I learn. So still I have many beginners mistakes. I don't understand the verb to be. I don't care. I don't know how you said. I just sticky, you know. So I learned working day by day in a coffee shop.
Well, hopefully Canada does better in the future. And I know you've actually done some work. I saw online some success you've had with changing some laws around ownership, even of companies, and efforts that you can do as a new immigrant.
Yeah. So well, if we go back to the coffee shop, after that, I was like, okay, I need more, you know. I already feel that I learn English. I understand a little bit where I am, that I feel that is a big challenge. Understand your context, where you are, the culture, the people, and the needs, the gaps. And I realized that I want more, and my networking stopped there. So what else I will do to increase my and enter to the labor market in spaces where I feel that I can bring the best of myself there. And so I decided to start a business. And I started my business. And when my business grew and I was ready to start to hiring people, I realized that I don't have that opportunity, because if I am not incorporated as a business, you are not able to hiring people, even to apply to fundings, grants, and mentorship programs, etc. So I realized that if you are not a permanent resident, you never will be able to incorporate your business, which is crazy, because, okay, I am a lawyer. I can't work as a lawyer here. Okay, and I will start to work and I will do a business. I would like to employ people. I will create my own space to work. Oh, yes, but no, you cannot incorporate because you are not a permanent resident. So how I get my permanent resident? And this is the tricky thing that I think entrepreneurs, immigrants, and other Canadians entrepreneurs should be advocate. It's not reasonable, the path of immigration to get your permanent resident doing business. So in order to get your permanent resident, you need to have a full-time job on the side. So your employer, in your behalf, can give you a letter to tell you, oh, yes, you are working full-time and Canada needs you. When you receive the call of Canada in your country before to come here. So, and when I realized this big gap, like barrier that I have, that I will not be able to grow my business because I am not a permanent resident, so I need a full-time job on the side, I decide to speak, you know, and to advocate for change, thinking that nobody else is doing it. Unfortunately, the non-for-profit sector and people that advocate for immigrants don't advocate a lot because they depend on government. So it's a tricky game there of, if you speak, I will cut you fundings. So they don't advocate for us many times. So the only ones that can do that, and I think this is the platform, that the freedom of being an entrepreneur is that freedom to speak and advocate for change, because you are showing and deliver something. So I have the opportunity to speak with government, provincial government, let them know that if this is a shame, that this is why people leave, that in other provinces this already changed, and I can get all my things and leave. And that is what happened, and nobody tell them the reason why. Nobody leave Newfoundland for the weather. People leave because people don't find jobs. People leave because they don't find opportunities. So if we are creating our own opportunities, well, let me the path more easy, you know, like let's collaborate together. You are bringing people, you are making policies that are not updated with your current policies. So you are betraying yourself, basically. And as a lawyer, I know, like, when a policy don't serve community, well, it's not working. Something must to be changed. And who made that policy? How long time ago? Nobody think about how old is that policy, with intention that I have today government to bring people. So, well, thanks to that, I have the opportunity to talk. I feel like a lawyer, really professional that day, with a folder, with proofs, with everything. And they make a change in the policy, and this was released in Newbornlander in the inauguration of the physical store. I was a home-based model, so I moved to a commercial space, and the Minister of Immigration at that time, John Fraser, and come here and to release this new amendment and show us a Newbornlander is kind of a example of business of what immigrants can do and the potential that we have. But still, get your permanent resident doing business is a problem, is a struggle that must to be changed. This need to be part of the conversation because I got my permanent resident, but getting a full-time on the side. So I need to kill myself as a mother, as a worker, and as an entrepreneur to make this happen. So I moved full-time to my business, not because I didn't want before. I couldn't. 3 weeks ago, because I got my permanent resident. And this is crazy to think that we are in 2023 in Canada, and these kind of barriers still persist in the immigration ecosystem, you know, like it's just barriers. Looks like the system don't want to see us succeed, you know?
What kind of changes do you think are coming? Was there any outcome from those meetings with the minister or from government?
Yeah, so, well, they make an amendment. That was like, so is it like that? So that show that when they know and they understand and when they have examples of things, they can make a change. This is not, and this is why I want to be really clear, government change, the parties change. So I am not against one party or whatever, government change. But we are all agreed that Canada is calling immigrants. That is a fact.
Right.
And so you see the change that happened in this amendment of a policy, old policy, that it doesn't make sense that they didn't know. And this is a problem, why they didn't know. And I will tell you why, because nobody advocates for us. People that is in position of powers, most of the time, they don't know about the problem. It's that they don't want to help. It's that they don't know. But anyways, it's their responsibility, get updated, right? So they should be hear the voice of the people that is suffering the problem or facing the problem. So this change happened so fast. Everyone was agreed. Everyone was like, oops, oopsie, we didn't know, we will change that. And it changed.
Okay.
So that showed that, and that is what I like Canada, even though all these barriers, you know, like you can speak, we immigrants, we can speak, we can advocate, we can create change. I believe that is what entrepreneurs does. We solve problems. So, but if we don't move, if we don't try to find the way how, nobody else could be do it for us. So it is there the momentum and the space in Canada to have a dialogue, to talk, but we need to create, unfortunately, that space. That space is not created yet for us. So I have a lot of hope. I think like we can make change, and this piece of Newbornlander doing this change is just one example, you know. So
well, it's an incredible example. I mean, because you are right, Canada is welcoming, reaching out to welcome immigrants to our country, absolutely. And what you say is just so what you've experienced, and the fact that you've been able to bring about change is incredible to me. So thank you for that. And I'm hoping that through this show, we can get the word out just a little bit more to support your efforts. And you talk about the business that you started that is now thriving. Tell us about it. It's called Newbornlander. Tell us how it started and what it does.
Well, Newbornlander started by the need that I couldn't enter to the labor market. I mean, I entered to a coffee shop that I think is amazing. I have so much fun. I learned English there, so I am not regret at all. It is just after a time, I was like, okay, I want more, you know, I have more to give. And so under this frustration, I thought like, you know, I need to start a business. I need to do something by myself. I need to create my space. And so at that time I have a baby, Mateo, and I couldn't find a really basic bandana bib. I found one actually expensive, ugly. And I thought, you know, this is a piece of triangle. I can do better. I will, if I am the person that do this, I will use a towel in the back to absorb the drool. I will put the snaps to do it more easy to put the bib, and I will use definitely other fabrics. So, okay, I bought a sewing machine. I started to watch videos in YouTube. I never touched a sewing machine before. And I realized that I have this amazing skill of design and also sew. Like, I am so good on that. I didn't know. And I think that is the beauty of being an immigrant. Like, you need to reinvent yourself many times. So just for being an immigrant, actually, you develop a lot of skills that entrepreneurs need. And you develop that because you need to develop that to settle, you know? So, and that's why I think immigrants, we all of us should be make a business, because we already have that things of resilience, creativity, reinvention. And because we come from other countries, I always say this, I love to say it, we are travelers of the time. We being in the past, we being in the future. So we come with other perspectives, and doesn't matter how much you travel. It's different live, born in another place and move to another one. So, so I start to sell my products in the farmers market, and people love it. So then I start to sew, to design more things, trying my baby, and that is how Newbornlander started, grew, and then I thought, my dream is create a space for other women like me, and create that space that I always dream, where I can learn English, where I can navigate the immigration ecosystem with other peers, where I can feel supported, where I can feel safe, where I will have an employer that will be allowed to me to get my permanent resident, understanding the immigration ecosystem, because all the knowledge and power is given to employers. But nobody empowered them. Nobody told them, hey, you are the one that have the key to retention and provide the permanent resident. Nobody knows. So if employers don't know, immigrants don't know. So nobody knows. So there is where we are stuck. And so that is how Newbornlander started.
And what is it today? It's grown from a bib to many products, I believe, and wholesale or retail. How just tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So, well, our core are baby accessories. So, we manufacture everything here locally, and we employ immigrant women beyond all the barriers of languages and experiences. I don't care if they don't know how to sew, we will teach them. I don't care if you don't speak English. We can use Google Translate and other apps to communicate. You will learn English. And I don't care your status of immigration, as soon as you have open work permit, and I will hire you. And if you need the permanent resident, I will support you 100% to get there. And then when you feel empowered and with English, we will connect you with a good employer that can recognize your past skills if you want. Or if you want to start a business, we will help you to start a business. My dream is like, see you lead and succeed. I welcome another women. But if you want to stay forever, you are welcome to. But I try to push and empower them. And so we manufacture these baby accessories. Our core are baby hats. And I think that is the best that what we do. And we try to reuse the pieces of fabrics that are left in the process of manufacturing these hats to creating other accessories. So also we work in a really responsible way, thinking in the environment. That industry of textiles is the second one that create most pollution in the world. So we are, all the piece of manufacturing have a side and where our fabrics come from, and how they are produce the fabrics, and how we manufacture, etc. On the other side, that is social as well, but is creating an impact in the immigration ecosystem. Also advocating with all these stories of women. I have access to so many information, so many other cases, and I feel the voice and the platform, which is Newbornlander, to advocate, because our customers are Canadians. Are Canadians that love their country, that are raising new babies. And many times, and this is the crazy piece, they don't know, how it works. They believe that, and this is the misunderstanding that happened, that many times immigrants come here to take advantage on the system. that we are lazy, that we don't want to work. But if they have English classes, how they cannot learn, and all that things that they don't know. So when I explain, they come freak out, and I come with this big support of like, no, this is not fair. Let's make a change. How we can support you, how we can support your team. And that is where this created such a pressure in, politics to make change, or to hear and say, like, we didn't know, let's talk.
Right.
And the opportunity to have a dialogue. So yeah, so that is what we do.
We're speaking with Constanza Safatle. You took Newbornlander to Dragon's Den recently, and you told this story quite successfully. So tell us about Dragon's Den, and just for our listeners, Dragon's Den is sort of a Canadian equivalent, if you will, to Shark Tank. So just tell us a little bit about how it's worked out.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of my English, and listen, if I go to the doctor, probably I don't know what to say because it's not my vocabulary. I learn a lot of vocabulary in entrepreneurship, business, immigration. And this happened a lot too, because every time what I have the opportunity to sew at home, when I start Newbornlander, I put the Dragon's Den to learn English vocabulary. So always have been a dream, right? I was a fan of Shark Tank back home. And so this was a call of action from me to say, I want to move full-time to Newbornlander. How? What I can do to grow my business. And this is because I've been working in the non-for-profit sector from the past 7 years to get my permanent resident, right? And so then when I got my permanent resident, I was so focused, okay, I need to move to my business now. I will not come like, hey, team, now I will work, so you are fired. I need to grade my salary now, right? I always have this salary on the side of my full-time job. So always I reinvest the money of Newbornlander in hiring other people and delegating and driving at the same time, right? And so I thought like what I will do. And then I thought like what I will do to grow, how I will get there. I don't want to sell hats in Newfoundland and be the old women selling hats in Newfoundland. I really want more. How? So go to trade shows is like wholesale is one strategic for me, was like, if I am able to go to wholesales and tell the story and they can see the product, people will be love it. And that is what happened. But I need somebody else, such a powerful kind of person that will be like, okay, this will be next, because wholesale for me is just an strategic to get there. It's not something that I would like to maintain, because you lose a lot of profit and your story. So I received an email like, are you ready for Dragon's Den? And I was like, sure, I am ready. And I fill out the form, was so fast, and then they was like, hey, you get in, like inside now, you may need to make an audition. And I was like, okay, and in 1 week. So I was freaked out trying, okay, I did it. And then they told me, if you get inside, you will receive a call. And I was like, oh my God, please. And I received the call. And I've been there. I believe that it was the best experience that any entrepreneur can have. It's just challenge yourself and see really well in, in a frame of your past, your present, your future. With Dragon or without Dragon, you have a plan now. So allow push you a lot to say like, okay, what is the plan? Why you need the money? What is the next step? So investors don't want to tell you what you need to do. Well, they does actually, but because they like to share, but they like somebody that come with a plan. Good plan, bad plan, but she come with a plan. So the experience was amazing. And also a lot of, and this is what entrepreneur happen. Many times people don't do it because I am not enough, I am small, I don't know if we are special or whatever. And then you realize like, wow, we are special because we get there so easily. Some people try for 7 years to be there. For us, it was easy. So we are special. And two, behind a dragon, behind an investor is a human. It's a human. You need to talk to that humanity. So for me was, if I am able to touch base in their immigration ecosystem, journey because I knew that they have an immigration story back, and I am able to bring out the humanity and put aside the business, they will get engaged. Because Newbornlander, we are a small business. I am not like, oh, millionaire making millions of dollars in sales. No. But if they think that this is special and they feel related and engaged, I will be successful. And that is what happened. My big success, it doesn't was get a dragon, was to see how engaged they was. You was an hour talking with them, and we talk of an hour, 50 minutes about immigration and 10 minutes about business. So that was my huge success on the side to get Manjit, that I love her, I admire her. She's a woman, young entrepreneur. She built her own thing. So I am so happy.
No, that's amazing. And I just watched it before coming on. I mean, obviously we see 8 to 10 minutes of it, but they obviously all completely enjoy it, as I have this, speaking to you and hearing about all of your incredible accomplishments. And time has really gone quickly. All right. We're actually coming, close to the end of this episode. So Constanza, Safatle, thanks again for joining us, for Say Hi to the Future today. And just sort of one last question for you. And it's actually something you said in a post recently. Entrepreneurs are not just driven by profit. We're called to solve problems and create positive change in our communities. That's incredible. Tell us a little bit more about that statement. Well, I believe, this is coming back to my why and in Newbornlander, but I believe any entrepreneur have a why, and I cannot believe the weakness of the why when you do things for money. Because for make business is tough. It's tough. I cry many times, like I can't do it anymore. I am so tired. But then when I come back to my why, this is not about money. I don't want to see myself. I want to see myself wealth, of course. But it's not about like, that is what made me happy. What made me work every single day is come back to my why. This is for my other peers. This is for Canada. That is my new country. This is for Newfoundland, my new province, to help them to show how we can create change, how we can solve solutions. And that is what moved me, and how we can be a better place for everyone, So for me, that is my why. And that is what moved me every single day. If it will be for money, like, so what? And I always thought, like, what it means be remarkable and being an entrepreneur? You are solving problems, And today we have, it is so much space to do more and to be creative in so for me, if your why is just money, I can guarantee to you, you will be in 5 years, be like, okay, done. I am tired, because being an entrepreneur is tough. And so it's just about money. I feel it's so empty. It is money and social, such a beautiful, mix that you have to do, because you are solving something big. Money is just a good consequence of your good actions. Money is a consequence of your good actions. Constanza, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And above all, thanks for coming to Canada. Thanks for overcoming the challenges that we put in your way and being a force for positive change. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me.